Happy 2020, Healthy Green Thumbs friends. Are you excited to make this your healthiest year ever and you're ready for a fresh start? I know that Cliff, the nurse farmer, and I are, and we are excited to present to you a lot of new material that we have been working on based on your feedback, comments, questions, as well as new information. So if you're excited to get started like we are going to kick off by talking about starting seeds indoors. It's around that time where a lot of us are going to start wanting to grow things that we might put into the garden later. So here, without further ado, is Cliff as he talks about how he starts tomato seeds.
I'm Cliff, the nurse farmer. Happy New Year. Is your new year off to a good start? I'm getting mine off to a great start, and that's because I'm about to start some tomato seeds indoors. Anybody who knows me knows that one of my favorite things to grow during the spring and the summer months are tomatoes. And that's how I'm going to start the new year, by starting my tomato seeds indoors so I get a head start in time for spring planting. And I'm going to teach and show you how you can start your own tomato seeds indoors too. First thing I would encourage you to do is check for the average date of the last frost in your region. You'll want to start your tomato seeds indoors about 6 to 8 weeks before the average date of the last frost. So for example, let's say the average date of my last frost is March 12th. Now, if I counted backwards about 6 to 8 weeks, that would mean starting my seeds indoors sometime between January 16th and January 30th. I've chosen cherry tomatoes. Cherry varieties are perfect for snacking, dipping. They're easy to add to salads without having to slice them when I'm in a hurry. I can just toss them in the bowl with the lettuce and all the other goodies. I don't have to worry about slicing them. They're just really convenient. Another thing about growing cherries is they're actually a nice variety to grow with your children, and they're also an ideal choice for people who maybe have limited spaces. Maybe if you're just limited to, say, a small backyard, a small patio, or a balcony, a cherry variety might be an excellent choice, to grow in a circumstance or in a location like that. My cherry tomato seeds are from Mountain Valley Seed Company out of Salt Lake City. As you can see, these are all heirloom, which just means they're an old-time variety that have been around forever. Sometimes heirlooms have been around for generations. The other thing that I like about this particular seed set is that they are organic. If you want to get some of these seeds of your own, please visit thenursefarmer.com and go to my shopping page. I have affiliate links where you can order some of your own through Amazon. I'm starting my seeds in these biodegradable cow pots. Now that's the brand name for this particular product. They're called cow pots. And guess what? They're made out of cow manure. And the thing I love about it is there's no odor. The other thing I love about it is in 6 to 8 weeks, all I have to do is transplant the entire cow pot, tomato and all, directly into the final growing space for my tomatoes. And this, my friends, is probably my most favorite and useful thing of all. This is my Sunblaster growing dome. I've used several different growing domes through the years, and Sunblaster seems to be my favorite one. The Sunblaster growing dome comes complete with a growing tray. It's also got a cover which will help hold the humidity and it'll help keep the seeds moist. It also helps trap in some of the heat. And on top here is the light. It's not plugged in right now, and plus we're outdoors, so it wouldn't really do me justice to plug it in and turn it on. But the thing is, it's a fluorescent light and it works off electricity. You just turn it on, and this provides a source of light for the tomato seeds. Now that I've filled my cow pot with seed starting mix, the next step is to make a 1/4 to 1/2 inch indention. And I'm going to use a pencil eraser, and that's because a pencil eraser, that's about 1/4 of an inch right there, okay? So if I just gently stick my pencil eraser in, make a 1/4 inch indention, gently drop the seed into the indention, and then cover. Keep the seed moist. Now, typically, I like to use a spray bottle, though this can be somewhat time-consuming because I want the medium to stay moist. We don't want this to dry out because if it dries out, it will impede and may actually cause the seed not to germinate. So, if you don't have time to mist it with a misting bottle, you could always use a water can or maybe even like a little cup of water or whatever. Just be careful. You don't want to pour it so hard that it washes the seed down any deeper or, damages the seedling once it comes up. I've seen that happen before, and I don't know, my preference is just to use the spray bottle. It can be a little time consuming, but it works for me. But you have to do what works for you, okay? So in closing, there's a couple of points that I want to stress. The first point is that the growing dome needs to be kept indoors. So if you're thinking that you want to do this and you want to get a growing dome or a growing light or whatever, and you're going to start your tomato seeds outdoors, that could be problematic, particularly if you live in a cold climate. Even here with kind of a mild climate in Alabama, I would be very reluctant and hesitant to do that. I'm going to bring this and keep it indoors because the light alone is not going to provide enough heat to get these seeds to germinating. So I would strongly suggest starting them indoors where, the inside of your house is, I'm sure, is typically warmer than the outside of the house. The second point I want to make is getting the tomato seeds on a natural day and night type cycle. So what I typically do is when I turn the growing light on, I turn it on during daylight hours. When I wake up, that's one of the first things I do. Just go ahead, turn the growing light on, mist the seeds with the mister. Turn the light on, just leave it on all day. And then around nighttime, when the sun goes down or whatever, turn it off. And that helps acclimate the tomatoes and gets them used to having that natural day and night type cycle. Another point I forgot to mention, by keeping them on a natural day and night type cycle, that will also help keep them from getting too tall and leggy. That can be a problem if you turn them on, turn the light on and just leave it on 24/7. The tomatoes tend to keep growing and growing, and they don't really get that, I'm not sure what word I'm looking for. They don't get that strong, and they tend to be kind of leggy, for lack of a better word. So just want to share those 2 points with you, and hopefully in 6 to 8 weeks, these babies are going to be ready for transplanting. If you have time, drop me a line on Facebook, Twitter, or any social media. Let me know how your tomatoes are coming along, and be sure to share a few pictures too, okay? Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks for sharing those great tips with us, Cliff. And I just want to concur with what Cliff had to say about the cow pots. People at Cow Pots, the folks were gracious enough to send us a bunch of samples last spring, which Cliff and I both trialed and loved. We know that there's other types of biodegradable pots out there, but what we loved about these is that the roots grew a lot better through the material than some of the other ones, which we have found stifled some of the growing, or at least in our opinion. So the other thing is that they offer a lot of different sizes, and as if you happen to outgrow the original pot that you started a seed in, you can just cut that particular pot out and transfer it with some new soil just directly into a larger size pot.
Here are some seeds that I grew last year with the cow pots. To get further inspired, watch our video called Growing Plants from Seed.
I know for me it's a little too early to start seeds in my region, but it's a great time to go ahead and start collecting your seeds, your soil, your starter pots, all the materials that you think you need for seeds that you're going to start indoors. And check out our blog about what seeds are best to consider starting indoors versus directly sowing out in the ground once the cold has passed. And we will have links on our shopping pages with resources that you may want to purchase to help you that we have already vetted out to to see about the quality and things that we feel like we can support. So we hope that you go ahead and think about starting some seeds indoors. And even if you don't have a space to plant them, we are going to talk about in an upcoming episode more about gardening when you live in a small space. So we have lots of great things coming, and I just want to show you that behind me, for the first time, even I'm doing new things, and I grew broccoli, which I sowed late in the fall, and it's still growing and actually growing some, starting a broccoli head. So I'm very excited about that. It's really fun to watch. So we would love to hear, excuse me, more about what you're growing. And if you can go ahead and share that on social media or reply to our email and let us know what you're growing, we would love to share that and build our community even further in 2020. So thanks for watching, and please like, share, all that good stuff so that we can grow this global community of like-minded people who want to enhance not only our health, the health and well-being of our families, our communities, and our planet, which, based on some of the wildfires in Australia and down in the Amazon, we really, really need to work hard this decade. So we hope you'll join us. All right, thanks for watching.